My loves, today we're going to talk about something I've been on and off talking about for 15 years, which is goals, preferably goals with soul. And I've been really transparent. I mean, I am transparent. This is with Love Danielle. All along that I have had this contentious relationship with goal setting. And like every concept, there is a shadow side and a light side. And I want to be on the light side of my own history. My pattern with goals, my experience, I should say, with goal setting has been set a goal, don't reach it, feel like a loser. Set a goal, exceed it, like just really super crush it, and think to myself, wow, I should have aimed higher. We could have gone so much further faster. I've been thinking too small. Set a goal and change my mind because I evolved, I grew up, or I was delusional. Set a goal and life, my higher self, global situations take over and say, no, not that, go this way. So mostly I feel like goals are this moving target. And then the shadow side, they can be a distraction. They can keep you out of alignment with your heart and your soul's purpose. They can be so ego-driven, goals that are about proving to people that you are worthy of being here and they need to love you the way that you were never loved before. Like that's so much of what goal setting is about. However, I am down with biblical proverbs, which is, without vision, we perish. So for the purposes of this conversation, maybe we'll use the term goal and vision, intention, aspiration. I'm going to interchange all of those things. I'll get us to some clarity, but I think the light side of goals, the heart-centered side of goals this is how we create. You need to have goals and aspiration to use them like swords to discern, to cut through the mire and the miasma of seduction, of mental programming, of religious fixation that really keeps you from what you want the most, which is feeling connected and having a sense of belonging. We are here to expand. We're here to heal. We're here to evolve. We are here to make progress. You got to have goals, but they need to be the right kind of goals. Okay, so this is how I do it. Side note, like a big side note, I wrote a book. It's called The Desire Map. I think the subtitle was How to Create Goals with Soul. 3, maybe even 400,000 people have been through the desire mapping process. For those of you who haven't been in the ecosystem, just the quick download on that is I walk you through the various areas of your life. You get clear on what you're grateful for, on what's not working, on what you want to stop doing, and how you want to feel in those areas of your life. You call those your core desired feelings, and you design your life according to those core desired feelings. And it's effectual. It helps you clarify things. It helps you move into that mental space of believing that you are worthy of what you desire. And that's just one stop on the journey. I don't think that is the pinnacle of evolution. I think the next rung on the spiral of ascending and being more conscious and loving and joyful and fulfilled is to be asking ourselves the question, what do I want to embody? Because feelings come and go. They're like the weather. And I want to be loving no matter how I feel. I want to be discerning no matter what's going on with my hormones. I want to live in higher common sense, capital common, capital sense, no matter what's going on in politics. So for me, that's about having an intention to embody Soul qualities, also known as virtues, are not immovable. They are eternal, they are everlasting, they pour down from the soul, they are how we embody the divine. Soul qualities like forgiving, radiance, resilience, generosity. Yeah, all the good things. So I think vision begins with perspective. And by perspective, I mean higher perspective, what I would call true, capital true perspective. And I talked a lot about this just a few episodes ago, episode 129, where I give you what I think are 5 paradigms, 5 points of view about healing, the fact that energy follows thought, love being the highest intelligence, every relationship being a divine assignment, and putting our nervous system nourishment as a number one priority. I think those are the key perspectives that are guiding my life. And I wonder if maybe they would be helpful to a lot of us, because I feel that having faith in a universal intelligence, in the intelligence of love, in a divine organizing principle, helps us stay committed to heart-centered living and leadership, especially when the shit hits the fan. So higher perspective supports deeper devotion, and that leads us into clear vision. So let me walk you through this. This is how I come up with my visions, my goals, my aspirations. So first of all, those are my paradigms that we're here to heal. Energy follows thought, divine, etc., divine, etc. That is how I walk through the world. That's informed by, I don't know, just maybe the wisdom I came in with and all of my research and experiences with mysticism and all that great knowledge. Okay, so I start from there. I'm here for a reason, and it is to love. It is to love. It is to receive love, embody love, speak, think, act with love. Okay, then I got to be devoted to that ideal. So you can't just have a worldview and like just kind of refer to it once in a while. Like you can't just have a theory. It's all got to be theory that works in practice, and you have to be committed to that. So the next step for me is devotion. I feel that devotion to higher principles are like an inoculation to stupidity, to density. Yeah, density is really the word that I was looking for. The way I look at spiritual practices is I feel that no matter what your spiritual practice is, it is helping you to build connection to your soul. I think of every spiritual practice, whether it's meditating, praying, some contemplative practice, doing the cleanses, moving, sacred movement, breath work. Just breathe, my love, just breathe. Stillness, silence, rest as a spiritual practice, being in nature to commune, gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most direct ways to presence, to the power of presence. No matter what's in your toolkit that you're actually using as a spiritual practice, I think what we're really doing with each of those is we're fortifying the bridge to our higher self. Every time you say that prayer, every time you do that 4, 6, 8 breathing, you're just clearing that pathway a little more so that that soul light, just these, I always see it as these drops of golden light, can make it through the atmosphere and drop into our thinking and into our auric field and our energy bodies and our physical body. And we're clearer and we're more robust. We are stronger vehicles of consciousness. Yeah? So you have perspective, then you got to have devotion, and you do the practices that help you build the bridge to your soul. And then with all that light pouring into you, you are going to be, I'll put it in like a hoity-toity way, you're going to be more virtuous. A cooler way to say that is with more ease, you are going to embody the soul qualities, those soul qualities of resilience and loving kindness and generosity and joy and all the good divine stuff. And then comes the vision. So you got a worldview that's beautiful and amazing. You're devoted to living that worldview, doing whatever it takes to live that way. And then your soul tells you what to want. So really, this is what I've been saying for years about attunement before attainment. I think we've got it so inside out and upside down as we think about what we're going to go after, what we want to do and have and be. And we think, oh yeah, that would really feel good to figure that out, to get that, to attain that. And I think subconsciously we're hoping it's going to give us all the good feels and we will evolve. Why don't we just figure out what evolution looks like on the interior, where it matters, where there's no theater and it's all truth, and then have that direct our quarterly objectives. I tell you, it's way more effective. It's way more fulfilling. My experience of essentially what I'm talking about is heart-centered goals, is that when you hit that goal and maybe you're slaying it and maybe you're crushing it and you pulled it off and it was like climbing a mountain right now, and I get all that and I'm still doing that in so many ways with my creative projects. But my experience is when it's coming from, the goal is coming from my healed self, I enjoy the journey way more. I don't burn out. I don't get sick. And when I crush the goal, I'm actually satisfied. And not temporarily. It's like heart-centered achievement builds on heart-centered achievement. You don't feel empty. You don't feel like, got it, crushed it. Now what's the next thing? You actually celebrate. You rest. You sleep. You're satisfied. And you think, what am I going to make of this achievement? You build on it. It's like it fans out. Yeah. It's more like a blossoming than a race. Yeah, it's more like building. You're adding on to the farm instead of going out to conquer new lands. Oh, I like that. I like that metaphor. Yeah, so I think truly constructive, and truly beneficial goals flow from our hearts, from our devotion to soul. And when you want to live a heart-centered life, the natural byproduct is you're always going to be thinking about how you achieving your stuff can be of service to others. So less striving and proving, more about delight and exploration. You're steered by your healed self, not by your approval-seeking unhealed self. And heart-centered goals are inclusive. They take into consideration the potential benefit or harm to others. So you're clear and you're grounded, like you want what you want and you are going for it. And maybe you are in that mindset that you are unstoppable because it already exists. As Carl Jung said, you throw the dream out in front of you and you just step into it. Yeah, you're fire. Go for it. Be that. And you're not overly attached to the outcome. So it may seem paradoxical, but all wisdom is paradoxical because wisdom holds all things. Wisdom can hold the strive and the relaxation. Wisdom can hold the uncreated and the manifested, right? Wisdom can hold your opinion and their opinion, your shadow and your light. So you're clear and you're grounded, but you're not overly attached. You're focused, but you're not kooky pants. You're fierce, but you're flexible. And you know deep within you, because the aim is to embody love. The aim, the intention is to heal, right? You know that whether you reach the goal or not, you are going to expand. And that's what you're here for. Hey, by the way, these 5 pillars for goals and aspirations that I'm walking you through, this is the spine. This is the heart-centered way. This is everything I've been working on for the last 15 years, all rolled up, clarified, simplified, and put into one place. So my Heart Center members are getting it, and now it is the Heart-Centered Planner system. It is going to live in an app someday, but right now for us, it's all about getting the planner into everybody's hands. The planners are launching, and there is some time sensitivity to this. All you need to do right now is go to daniellelaporte.com/plannerpod. We are setting it up this year where I'm printing the planners in batches. So I need to get everybody's order in the month of September so that you get your planner, and all the people that you're giving them to as gifts get their planners before Christmas. So if you order your planner by September 26th, you get it before the holidays. I've got something super cool this year. $9 for shipping no matter where you live in the world. Australia, New Zealand, LA, Victoria, BC, $9 everywhere, and it's expedited. So my beloved Australians, you're not waiting 3 weeks, 3 months like you used to in the past to get your planners. We got you, and it's cheap and cheerful. Okay, here's what you need to know about the planner. First of all, it's gorgeous. It's mocha, it's linen, it's spiral bound. There's a daily edition. There's a weekly edition. And in addition to the physical planner, which I think is one of the most powerful tools I've ever created, because on a daily basis, you're checking in with your to-dos and with your heart. I've got a whole system in there about nervous system balancing. We're doing weekly, monthly reflections, quarterly relationship reflections. And on a daily basis, you're checking in with Nourishing Thoughts. Really, really, it's everything that I have figured out how to do to keep my life on the rails. And in addition to the physical thing that's going to walk with you every day, you're coming into our heart-centered ecosystem. So we're giving you the heart-centered membership experience, where you get a handful of business workshops from me, healing workshops that are part of our heart-centered membership, a set of meditations, prayers, and rituals, and the kit for how to create a heart-centered altar and how to do right and burns on new moons and full moons to do a whole energy cleansing and releasing process. It's a way of life, and I've been living by it, and thousands of people I've been working with are living by it, and it's keeping us more sane than crazy. How's that for a sales pitch? Head to daniellelaporte.com/plannerpod. First wave of the print run means that you have to order by September 26th, and then you're going to be holding that love before the holidays. If you want to know anything ever about the day planner system, we have daily, we have weekly, we have undated. You can head to getheartcentered.com and you can see the full package. It's more than just a printed planner. It's an ecosystem into the heart-centered way of living. Now, I know a lot of us go through kind of this turmoil when we're creating goals and visions, and there's so many arduous methodologies out there, and I'm not into it. I think you know what you want. I think the question is super simple, and the process of clarity can be really easy. I think it's as simple as asking yourself, what's the life you want to live, and what's it going to take to create that? I have created a vision builder exercise as part of the whole heart-centered way, the planner system, where essentially you're looking to create a before and after for your year. So where are you now? Where do you want to be in 12 months? What's it going to take for you to get there? And then what do you need to do in 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months in order to make it happen? It doesn't need to be more complicated than that. You are wise. You have desires. You have this devotion. You got the perspective. You got some vision about what's going to feel good, what's going to balance your nervous system, what would be delightful, what would be better than it is now. You got this. Like, you trust in your capacities, and you trust that the universe is going to bring you the supplies and the resources and the systems and whatever you need, whether you're ADHD or broke or genius or neuronormative or wealthy. Everything you need is going to show up to help you show up to make good on this vision. And then you move into creation. And the most important thing to keep in mind to create anything is the universal principle that energy follows thought. Talking about it all the time. I'm going to talk about it until my last breath. And then I'm going to come and on the ethers, after my last breath, I'm going to whisper into your energy bodies, energy follows thought. So that means higher quality thinking raises the quality of your life experience. Think good stuff, your life will be better. It's the best use of your free will is to choose more nourishing thoughts, thoughts that are more nourishing, more of the time. It's a life practice. It's one of the reasons we're here. It's our greatest struggle. It's our greatest opportunity. It's the spiritual boot camp that we all signed up for, which is making life-affirming declarations to ourselves as often as possible. Staying out of the dark mental chatter, essentially deprogramming ourselves. I think when we are hanging out with nourishing thoughts, every thought is its own little energy ball, right? When those energy balls, those little spheres that hang out in our auric field, are higher vibration, more loving, more in the mode of possibility thinking, more about compassion and resilience and unity and happiness, then all of those great energies are going to seep into our speech. It's going to affect the way we talk. And how we talk magnetizes things to us, creates a reality. That will inform our actions. So our creative power increases when our speech and our actions are directed by nourishing thoughts, not destructive thoughts. Healthy, not unhealthy. And then I think the next layer to that is we take all that higher intention, all those higher desires, our practice of thinking higher quality thoughts, all the ways that we can stay on track, higher vibe. And then, and this is where it gets really powerful, we get in sync with the natural rhythms of life. We pay attention to what's going on in the planets. We pay attention to what's happening in the seasons and nature. When it's winter, we do wintry things. We move into rest. When it's spring, we clean things up. We decide what emergence is going to look like. We don't go against it. We don't try and be hyper productive when the season is about rest and rejuvenation. We don't try and start new things when Mercury is retrograde and everything that rules the energy of communication is going backwards and is asking for a big detox. When it's time to detox, we detox. When it's time to start, then we muster up our courage and we get our plans together and we use the HeartCentered planner and we launch. When we sync up with the earth and the planets, then our productivity gets an extra energy boost and our rest is more effective. I think it just makes perfect sense, metaphysical sense. So we have perspective, we have devotion. Then comes the vision. The devotion informs the vision. And then we move into the technology of manifesting and creating. And then that helps us create deeper, better, more fulfilling conscious connections in our life. So the reminder here is that every relationship is a divine assignment. So how we relate to the shadowy bits of ourselves, the unhealed stuff, informs how we treat others. How you treat yourself is how you're going to treat other people. Are you listening to your inner child? Are you listening to your neuroses and your obsessions respectfully, kindly? Are you listening to them so much that they're actually calling the shots? Are you parenting your inner stuff? Are you taking responsibility? Is there this loving kindness relationship with your shadow content? Because if you can do that for yourself, you can do that for other people. And if you can do that for other people, you're going to have really fulfilling, intimate, fun, productive relationships across the board. I believe that emotional intimacy with ourselves can be one of our greatest strengths. Like, if we had to have this like cosmic resume, I would want to put at the top of my resume, emotionally intimate with all parts of myself. Hire me now. We're conditioned. We know that if you're here, you know that you are conditioned to reject all the uncomfortable feelings that are part of being human, all the shadowy bits. New Age has actually trained us to spiritually bypass all of that stuff and just be grateful for all the bullshit. And eventually you do get grateful for all the bullshit, but not until you embrace it, transmute it. It doesn't change until you sit with it. And then it changes. You accept it, and then there's evolution. Yeah, I think connection is everything. I think doing the spiritual practices to fortify the bridge to our higher selves really just gets down to the results of how we relate, and are we laughing, and are we honest? Are we reliable? Do we have people who are there for us? Can we be loving enough with ourselves that for the relationships that are really difficult, we know when to retreat and repair and go back in? Or we're spacious enough that we can just breathe and not take things personally? Okay, so that's a long way around the barn of unpacking how I create visions and goals. So let me take it down into the studs and talk about how this works in my business and into like the really fun worldly things like money and metrics and objectives and all those things. So when it comes to goals within our business, I focus more on the vision. So we don't have a mission statement. We have more like an energy statement. So the words, the energies, keep in mind that every word is a little world of energy, just a symbol of this quality, right? I have these words for the business, and we want to feel this way on the team, and we want to create this experience for everybody else. They are as follows: nourishing, nurturing, generosity, harmony, high touch. So we can look at those energies as objectives, and we can ask ourselves, is how we serve and treat our heart-centered members nourishing? How can we nurture that community more? How can we be generous? How can we be generous more to ourselves? Is that about Flexi Fridays or great pay or just giving ourselves a break if we aren't showing up in the way we need to show up that day? Yeah, so vision statements. In terms of actual projections and objectives, I'm like so not down with past projections. I am not going to set my goals for the year, for the quarter, for this launch based on what we did previously. Forget it. Why do I want to repeat history? I just want to keep expanding. I want to make more than I made on the last one. I want to get it to more people. I want it to be more cohesive, more accessible. I want better technology. I want the language to be better. I want better lighting. I'm not looking in the rear view mirror to create my future. So do we look at it? Yes. Do we plan by it? No. We're going, I just look at past experience like, oh, that's interesting. I've worked with many an accountant who are like, okay, we're going to do your objectives for the quarter, and based on a 10% increase over last year, and they're like, you're not operating in my reality. My reality is multidimensional. I'm a different person. I'm vibing at a higher level. And so the goal is this. we are going to sell this many copies. We are going to launch on this date. Yeah, so we basically just make up numbers. And then we break those numbers down. So if we want to sell 50,000 of this course, then how many people need to get on our VIP list? And how many emails do we need to send? Okay, so there's math. And then there's heart, and there's vision, and there's creation. And I do my heart-centered manifesting practice every day, which you can get if you're in the Heart Center membership. If you're not in the membership, the doors are opening twice a year. We're going to open the doors again in February 2025, and then in September 2025. Head to daniellelaporte.com/membership, and you can get on the list. What else do I need to tell you about? Metrics. I have to give it all up to God, because there's still lots of things we do where we go, wow, that's not how we wanted it to go. But wow, look at all we learned, and we know where the weaknesses are, and we know where the strengths are, and we have such better relationships. And that led me to this idea about this book, about the planner, about the app, about the thing, about where to rest, about what to say yes to, about what to say no to. So yeah, really practical thing is when we do set number goals, metric goals, we are in a pretty healthy habit of asking ourselves on a regular basis, what did I do today in my role to sell that many copies? And it could be something like, oh, I just came up with an extra great hashtag for socials. And then I did all these other things that weren't directly related to the goal. Or it could be like, hey, I sent out that extra email. I made 3 more phone calls, and I wrote that extra chapter. I think the most important thing I do in terms of achieving is my daily meditation practice, which for me is mostly the heart-centered manifesting practice. After I do what I consider to be my job, I pour all of the vignette visions I have sitting in the center of my heart. I pour the golds, the pinks, and the whites, and all those healing, creative frequencies onto them. I offer my prayers of gratitude. I give my fears to the sun. I say my Metta Bhavana prayer, and I get on with the day. And if I hit the goal, great. There's more to be grateful for. And if I don't hit the goal, great. I learned a lot, and there's so much more to be grateful for. And I know from experience that gratitude is the foundation of both abundance and sanity. Gratitude balances your nervous system. And any goal without gratitude is empty. And you can crush it, hack it, slay it, but you won't be happy when you get there. You'll just be off to the next thing. Goals with soul, baby. You can't go wrong. All right, my loves, please, please, please remember, it is planner time. It is a system for life balancing, living intentionally. It's my favorite thing I've ever created. I pressed pause on it for 3 years. I went from that desire map paradigm to a heart-centered way. And it works, and it's beautiful, and it's nourishing, and the time is now so that you can get them in your hands before Christmas. And please tell your friends, because every year that I do day planners, I get hundreds of emails after cart closes to say, I didn't get the email, I wasn't on social media, and now I can't get the planner for the year. And I'm just like, baby, you got to pay attention. Like, it's all divine timing, but this planner situation is time sensitive. daniellelaporte.com/plannerpod. Keep coming back, subscribe. You just take a deep breath, breathe into your heart center, and then go leave me an awesome review because it helps us lift up the algorithm with higher consciousness. We are bigger, we are wiser, we are more lovely, more resilient, more together than the algorithm would have us believe. So just go likey like, lovey love. I will see you soon. I'm glad you are here. Always bring it back to your heart. You just see those golds, those pinks, those translucent ribbons of white radiating into and out of your heart center. And we got this. Always, always, always. We got this. With love, Danielle. Thank you so much for listening, for feeling, for spreading the word. With love.